Hello, everyone, and welcome to the November edition of the Boxcryptor for Teams webinar. My name is Elizabeth, and I will be your host today. We probably know each other if you have already started a trial with Boxcryptor or you already have an active Boxcryptor team license. If not, we can get that fixed today. You can go ahead and directly start the trial from our website, so that everything that you see today on the demo, you can also try out on your side. The goal of the webinar today would be for you to understand how Boxcryptor works from a user point of view, which means how the data is encrypted, how is it shared with the team members, as well as external collaborators if needed. How do you protect the file name from anybody seeing what exactly do you have as content, perhaps within the file or the folder, and how do you work with protected messages and files within Microsoft Teams. You will also see the administrator features, everything that is related with the management of the team plan with the Boxcryptor. So let's get started. So right at the beginning, I would like to show you the download section, which you will definitely need as soon as you sign up for a Boxcryptor account, because you will need to download Boxcryptor on the device on which you typically work with your sensitive data. Our website automatically detects what kind of operating system are you currently working with. So in my case, it's Windows, and I'm getting the option to download the Windows app from Boxcryptor. You also have the option to download the macOS version. If you or your team members are working, let's say, outside of the office and the work is done on mobile devices like smartphones and tablets, it would be good to know that both iOS and Android are supported, so you can download the respective Boxcryptor app and work with your sensitive data. There is also the portable version, which is mostly used on Linux machines or by users who don't have administrator permissions. And last but not least, there is the Microsoft Teams app, where, as I said, you are able to protect the sensitive data which you exchange either within messages or within files that you upload for your team members and guests as well. Okay, so as soon as you download the Boxcryptor software on your side, what you would actually see is the Boxcryptor drive, the Boxcryptor virtual drive, which is here, and it automatically detects any storage providers that you are currently syncing on your device. So if something is not visible right at the beginning, you can also add it manually by visiting the settings of Boxcryptor here. So when you click on it, you are being brought to the first tab, which is the Locations tab. And here you can add manually anything else where you store sensitive data which you would like to encrypt, and that is not automatically detected by Boxcryptor. So that might be local network shares, let's say external hard drives, some USB sticks, or even simple folders which are located on your device. So after you do that, it will pop up here. So from this moment on, you get to choose the location that you want to work with. As an administrator of the team account, you can also specify which storage location should your team members work with. So in case you don't want to have everything visible, you want to specify only one location, this is possible via activating a policy. But we will reach that step later. So if I take, let's say, OneDrive as an example on my side, what you are seeing here is the OneDrive view directly from within the Boxcryptor drive. And I always need to use the Boxcryptor drive because this is where the encryption happens, which is done locally on your device. And also this is the place where I can open the encrypted data. So I can't do that directly from within the cloud. And then at the right side, what I'm showing you is my locally synced OneDrive, so that you will see that I have on both sides the same folder structure. So anything that I am used to while working with OneDrive so far will not change when I start working with a Boxcryptor. The only difference is just adding this step, which is coming over to the Boxcryptor drive. Otherwise, everything else stays the same. So with Boxcryptor, you have two ways of encrypting your data. You can encrypt existing folders, or you can create brand new files and folders from within the Boxcryptor drive. So if I go ahead and encrypt an existing folder, that would be doing a right click over the folder, going to the Boxcryptor menu and choosing, of course, the encrypt option. You will follow the steps from Boxcryptor, so it's really easy, just clicking on the OK button, and then Boxcryptor does everything by itself. As you see, it doesn't show you any loading bars or anything like that, so it works in the background so that nobody from the users is getting distracted. So as soon as the folder has been encrypted, Boxcryptor adds this suffix underscore encrypted so that you will be able to distinguish it from the rest of the data. So you know that when you look at it, let's say from the OneDrive side, you know that this folder is encrypted. In addition to this, you also get this small green square, which is showing you that the folder is encrypted. If by some reason this suffix is bothering you, or it might cause an issue, let's say if you are using the path to the folder for anything, you can always go ahead and remove it by renaming the folder. And that's it. So this is how it looks like when you encrypt existing data, and when you encrypt brand new data, you just go ahead and create, let's say, a new folder from within the Boxcryptor drive. And now Boxcryptor is asking if I want to encrypt this folder. I will choose yes. But considering the fact that you are provided with an option to choose no as well, there is a way for you as an administrator to skip this question for your users by activating a policy. So when you activate this policy, it's called require encryption from your administrator account. What will happen is that any new file or folder which you create from within the Boxcryptor drive will be automatically encrypted. So with having this policy activated, you will minimize the possibility of the users making a mistake and just uploading data in plain text in the cloud or on your local network shares. So as soon as this folder is encrypted, now we see that it's already available on the OneDrive side directly. Everything that goes inside of it will be automatically encrypted as well. So if I go ahead and place some test data over here, Boxcryptor will automatically encrypt it. And in addition to this, anything that I have set as access permissions to this folder will be also inherited from the data that goes with it. So how do I set the access permissions? How do I share access with the rest of the team for this specific folder? That's pretty easy. you do once again a right click. So most of the work within the Boxcryptor client is done with a right click on Windows. So I go again to the Boxcryptor menu and I will choose the manage permissions this time. So here I am able to specify which people exactly are allowed to work with the data, the encrypted data that will reside in this folder. So I can do that by adding individual people, just typing their email address. And at this step, I assume that you have already added your team members as users under your Boxcryptor team plan, or the other option is to use the group feature. Actually, this is something that we recommend you to use more often in comparison to setting the access permissions individually, because let's say if this folder is supposed to hold the data for the management team, and you have 10 people in your management team, instead of assigning the access permissions 10 different times and also waiting for the synchronization from Microsoft or any storage provider that you're using, you can, instead of that, use the group management feature and assign directly the access permissions of the management team. So everybody that is part of this group will get access to this data. So this is why we recommend you to use the group feature more often. The groups are created directly in the administrator portal, where you can set groups for all of your different teams, or you can also set, let's say, groups for different projects within the teams, whatever you prefer to do on your side. Okay, so as I said, everything that goes inside of this folder will be automatically encrypted, and it will inherit the access permissions from the top folder. So this is how it looks like on the OneDrive side. And perhaps I can also show you how does it look like directly online. So here we have it when I look the file from my online OneDrive account. And what I am noticing as another difference is, for example, I do have the file as it is right now here, but in the cloud, when I look at it, it has the .bc extension. So this is another small difference, which helps you realize which data have you encrypted or not. From the Boxcryptor view, you will always see the files as they are. So what happens, let's say if your cloud storage provider wants to see what kind of data do you store on their servers, or another example would be an intruder breaching into this OneDrive account and seeing that I have some data over here, or there is a ransomware attack and my data, this data, which is already encrypted, is being stolen. So now they want to see what is it. In all of these cases, or maybe there is somebody from the team who by mistake got access permissions from OneDrive and is now seeing this file, but doesn't have access permissions from Boxcryptor. So what will happen when they try to open the file is this. So that means that they will see nothing. This is the protection that Boxcryptor provides for your data in the cloud, or on your local network shares, depending where you store it, in action. So this is what it looks like when somebody which is unauthorized, which doesn't have access permissions through your Boxcryptor account. So this is what they will see on their side. Practically nothing, even if the data is stolen or taken via ransomware. So it's useless for whoever has it now on their side. They can't do anything with it. In case you would like to go a step further, as I mentioned, in such a situation when this file has been shared through the cloud storage provider with a team member, but this person wasn't supposed to see what kind of file is it, in order to prevent them from even guessing what is behind this file, you can go ahead and activate the file name encryption. Once again, right click over the file, you go to Boxcryptor and you choose the enable file name encryption and just follow the steps by clicking on the OK button, and Boxcryptor will transform the file name into an unreadable string of random characters, so that a person that doesn't have access through Boxcryptor to this file is not even able to guess what kind of data might be in this file or folder. There it is. So this is how it looks like when somebody is looking at it from the cloud side, or also within the OneDrive, the locally synced OneDrive on your computer. So if by some reason you don't want to have this feature anymore after you have activated, you can deactivate it, disable it by simply visiting the disable file name encryption option, and Boxcryptor will revert the file name back as it was, so that you will see the name of it as well here in the cloud. Okay, so what happens, for example, when I am working on this annual finance report and I want to send it to a board member, which is not part of my Boxcryptor team license. The reasons why this board member is not part of my team license might be various. One of them would be, let's say, I don't want to spend one seat from my user's number in the team plan, or I just don't want to teach somebody how should they work with new software. Like there can be different reasons why I wouldn't want to share another Boxcryptor user seat. So I just want to share this file with a person that doesn't have a Boxcryptor account. It might be also an external person. It doesn't necessarily have to be somebody from the board. I'm just giving an example because of the name of the test file that I have here. So how do I go about solving this question? I wouldn't need to leave Boxcryptor, just as I have the file here encrypted. Once again, I will do a right click, I will go to the Boxcryptor menu, and I will choose the create Wisply link option. So here's a little bit more info about Wisply in case you haven't seen it so far. So Wisply is the second security product that our company has developed, and it's fully incorporated within Boxcryptor. So if you have Boxcryptor account, or if you sign up for the company trial, you will be able to use Wisply as well. The idea of Wisply is to provide you with a secure way to share an encrypted file with an external person, as I said, somebody that doesn't have a Boxcryptor account. And this file exchange is being done not so often, maybe once per month, twice per month, something like that. While if you have almost daily exchange of secure data with another person, even if it's an external person, you would probably add this person as a user under your Boxcryptor team plan. Otherwise, if the data exchange is not that frequent, then you can go ahead and use Wisply. The principle of work for Wisply is the same as you would do when you share let's say, a public link from your own OneDrive when you want to share a file with an external person. So you create a public link, and this is how Wisply works, but with the small but important difference that you're actually sharing access to an encrypted file. So how does that look like? We'll just click on the Create Wisply link, and once again on the OK button, Boxcryptor will do the job for me, and it will bring me to Wisply's website, where I do have some extra options to add on the link for the encrypted file, like an expiry date, or I can even make it a one-time download. And then on the next step, I do have the option to add a PIN or a password to the link as an extra security level. So if I choose the link and PIN option, let's say I will copy the link right now. And this is how it will look like when I'm sending it now to that external board member that I have mentioned at the beginning of this operation. So the external person doesn't need a Boxcryptor account. All they need would be a browser with an internet connection. So they get the link from my side, and they're brought to Wisply's website, where they're being asked for the code. So it was 0671. Now I will add the PIN, and I'm able to download the file. So the encrypted data has been decrypted directly within the browser, and now as an external person, I am able to download the file directly on my side and do whatever needed to do with it. As soon as I finish this procedure on my side, because perhaps the idea of sending the file through Wisply was because the file contains sensitive data. And when I amend it on my side and I need to send it back, I would also prefer to do that via a secure channel. So yes, now I can download the file on my side. And as I said, to do some changes on it. And if I want to send it back to my to the person that provided me the link with, I can come over to Wisply's website and do this process as the sender right now, without having a Boxcryptor account. So of course, there are some requirements. For example, like I need to have a OneDrive, Google Drive, or a Dropbox account in order to be able to send the file back. But it would be actually really a nice idea, because now my recipient will be able to download this file directly on their side within their encrypted folder. So what we are doing right now is we are closing the loop of the secure exchange with external people. So this is how Wisply works. And as I said, if you have a Boxcryptor license, or if you sign up for the trial, you will be able to check out how does this look like on your side as well. Okay, so that was more or less everything related to the Boxcryptor client. Now let's see how does it look like when we work with the Boxcryptor for Teams app. It's really, really simple, as the typical usage with Boxcryptor is. So as soon as you have it installed within your Teams, it will be available on the left side, which gives you a direct connection to your personal OneDrive, in case you might need to see some data directly from here. So yes, here is the folder that I have created for the demo today. Then you can also find Boxcryptor on the channel here at the top as a channel app, where you can upload files and folders directly as if you're working with the files tab. So you can just use the upload button and you are able to see the status. And here we do have some other options. So for example, what I find really useful is the copy link option, which means that once I have uploaded this file, instead of letting people search where exactly this file, this encrypted data is, with the copy link option, I can share directly the link with them so that they will save some time before accessing the data. You can also find Boxcryptor at the bottom as a messaging app, where you have the option once again to upload encrypted data. And something that is really useful, you can send encrypted messages. So let's say this pin that you saw when you were using Wisply, for example, if you send the link via email for the file, you can send the pin for Wisply, let's say in a Teams message, and that can be decrypted and viewed directly here as in the channel. For example, if you want to share it with the people that are part of the channel, or you can also share encrypted messages and files directly in one-on-one chat. So if you are having a private conversation and you want to share some sensitive information, you can directly do that from the Boxcryptor messaging app. Okay, so that's how Boxcryptor works from a user point of view. What I could do now is to show you how does the administrator portal look like. So once you're signed into your Boxcryptor account on our website, you will get to see the manage organization here on the left side. And that will bring you to the place where you will do everything that is related with the team account. Right at the beginning, there is the master key. It is really important to have it activated, not just within a live production account, but also when you are testing Boxcryptor with the trial. So this would be one of the first things that you would do, because the master key is a wrapper on top of all of your user encryption keys. So you are using the master key on 2 occasions. One of them is when you do a password reset on behalf of your team members. You might think, why would I have to do that? Why wouldn't they go ahead and reset the password on their own? Well, the thing is that when I mentioned that nobody has a chance to see what kind of data have you encrypted with Boxcryptor. That would be the cloud storage provider, any intruders, any people that are not authorized through Boxcryptor. In this case, we as a provider, Boxcryptor, we are also not able to see what kind of data do you encrypt with our software, thanks to the fact that we don't know what kind of password do you set for your user account. But here is the thing, that without us knowing the password, we can't reset the password for your user account if you forget it or lose it. If that happens and you do perform the account reset, the set of encryption keys that you had for your account will be removed. They will be deleted, which means that you will lose access to your encrypted data. This is where the master key comes into play. So you as an administrator will be able to do the password reset on behalf of your team members without them losing access to the encrypted data. And then the second use case of the master key is, let's say, when a team member leaves the organization, but they have encrypted some files which they haven't shared with anybody else. So they haven't added anybody in the access permissions field. And without knowing the user's password, there is no way for anybody to access that data, but thanks to the master key, the administrator can always decrypt this file. So there will be no data loss in case somebody from the team has left and they haven't shared the access details for their user account. Then you have the users section. This is the place where you add your team members as users. So you can do that by importing a list of users, or you can simply add just email, first name and last name. That would be all. This is the place where you can do some other things related to the user accounts in the situation that I have explained, somebody leaving the team. So when this happens, they of course shouldn't have access to the company data anymore. So you will disable their user account, or maybe it's not just the case when a person leaves the team, but it might happen that some project that several team members were working on has been completed, and they don't need access to the encrypted data anymore. So you can disable the user accounts. You won't delete them immediately. You will disable them first, because then you get a chance to use the master key because in case somebody has left some data which wasn't shared with anybody else. Otherwise, if you delete the account immediately, their set of encryption keys will be also deleted. So even if you have the master key active, then it wouldn't be possible to decrypt the data that has been left after them. This is why you would first disable the accounts. By disabling a user account, you get the seat back, which you can assign to another person. So this is extremely relevant if your team members are working on different projects, and then at one point the project is over and people don't need to access those data. So you can just disable the account and give the seat to another person. Here you can also grant the administrator rights to somebody else from your team members. And we do recommend that you have, depending on the size of the team license that you need, we do recommend you have at least 2 administrators, because there might be cases where the main administrator is not available by some reason, vacation, illness, or whatever, and you still have another person that can jump in and do the necessary changes, like add users, create groups, or amend some policies, or whatever is needed. You also have the option to connect to a user directory. For the regular company plans, you just make the connection to your Active Directory, and you can copy the users that you have from there, and then everything that is being changed within the groups or the users, then you will have to trigger the connection once again manually. And for the enterprise plans, the user management is done automatically thanks to the single sign-on. So there will be a connection with your Active Directory, and everything that you change on the Active Directory side, and also in the groups, like adding, removing users, thanks to the SKIM protocol with the single sign-on setup, all of the changes will be reflected directly within your Boxcryptor team account. You don't have to do that on both places with the enterprise account. If there is any interest to get more information about the single sign-on, I will be happy to provide you with our presentation details. And as soon as you get the recording, you will have my contact details as well, so you can also ask any additional questions. The next section is the groups section, the place where, as I said, you will create groups for your different teams, or for the projects that your team members are working on. And then you can assign the access permissions of the encrypted data directly through the group feature, instead of assigning the access permissions to individual people. After the groups, we have the policies section. So this is a super extensive choice of options to strengthen the security of the Boxcryptor usage. So you have a lot of things which you can restrict, let's say, in terms of accessing the encrypted data with the Boxcryptor. And one friendly advice, when you work with when you set up the restriction policies, please exclude yourself as an administrator so that you can at least come back afterwards and change the policy if there is some need. There are a lot of other options which you can use, and here is the require encryption that I have mentioned at the beginning, that question that popped up when I have created the folder within the Boxcryptor drive. If I want to encrypt it with Boxcryptor, that can be skipped by activating the require encryption policies. Something that is also quite popular, depending on which type of freedom, which type of rights would you like to give to your users when it comes to groups. Let's say if you would prefer to control the group's management because you don't want to let the team members to manage the groups by themselves. You don't want them to add or remove people. So you can do this by activating the groups, all of these groups policies, so that you as an administrator will have the control over the groups management. And of course, it makes sense if you do have the control over the groups, you will activate the disallow permissions modification. So you won't allow your team members to change the access permissions, who has right to work with encrypted data and who doesn't. All of these policies are available during the trial as well, so you will have an option to check out how does it look like on your side as well. Right at the end, we have the activities. These are the so-called audit logs. You will see what happens within the Boxcryptor web app and the Boxcryptor client, the software here for the data encryption. You will see here activities like who has signed in, from where, if an administrator has used the master key for an operation, if a person has created groups, added, removed users. So all of these activities are listed actually here. Sorry. And what you won't see are activities related to the files itself, like which data has been encrypted, with whom has been this data shared with, and things like that, because Boxcryptor unfortunately doesn't have access to these activities, so it's not also able to show you these activities within the audit logs. Otherwise, you can specify the activities by different users, by the type of activity, or even the period of time from which you would like to see the specific activities, and then export the results. Let's say upload them to your CM and analyze them further if needed. And those are all of the sections within the administrator account, right? Like literally right at the end is the billing information, which shows you what kind of team license do you have, until when is it valid, or if you have a company trial account, until when do you have some time to do the testing. So in terms of activating the trial account, you can do that directly on our website here on the Start Free Trial button. It is valid for 2 weeks, and it comes with the complete feature set, everything that I have shown you today, the data encryption, access permissions, sharing access with team members and external people with Wisply, the file name encryption, and the Teams app, including the administrator portal with all of the features. Everything is included within the trial. 2 weeks, and you get to add as many users as you want to, so that you can test it together with your team members and decide if you would like to implement it. The best part is that upon going forward with the team license, the license itself is added in your account, in your trial account, and it takes over automatically. So any configuration which you have set during the trial will be kept for you. So you won't have to start from scratch upon licensing the account. You just continue with the usage. The team plans are in steps by 5, and which means the company 5 is the smallest one available. And then it goes up to 50 for the company plans. And then if you need more than 50 users, or you need features like single sign-on, then you will be considering the enterprise option. The pricing is available also directly on our website. For any specific questions, I will be happy to help. So as I mentioned, you will get the recording after the webinar, and with that you will also have my contact details in case you need some specific details or more information on some features. I will be happy to help you out. Thank you very much for your attention, and I wish you a nice rest of the day or the night, depending on where you have joined me. Bye.